This episode of the Sports Box is brought to you by Mic'd Up Entertainment and DJ Mike Velardi. For all of your event planning needs, make sure you contact Mike at 609-864-5925 and tell him that you saw him on the Sports Box.
And we're on the air. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show that, you know what, it's just not enough words to even describe it. This is the Sports Box, with the only opinion that matters. It's right here. I am Mike Coletta, a.k.a. Hamilton Mike, along with, he's not here, my partner Brian the Ranger Tard, but you know what? On the line for this episode, for an update, we have Brian the Ranger Tard. Brian, on the road today, what's going on?
I'm so happy to finally be a guest on the show.
Yeah, see that? Look at anything you get in the Sports Box is unbelievable here. We got Brian, the Ranger Tard, up in the New York area, coming home from the area with breaking news for us. Brian, what do you got for us?
Well, so I can report, as you probably see on a couple of outlets by now, Mika Zibanejad, the Rangers' restricted free agent, has agreed to a new deal with the Rangers, avoiding arbitration. And the 5-year deal is going to be paid at just over $5.3 million a year. They were going to go to arbitration, and they found a way to come to an agreement prior to having to go through that ugly process. So Zibanejad, the former senator who they traded Derek Brassard for before last season, re-ups with the Rangers for 5 more years. Probably going to be the number 1 center this year, Mike. It sure seems.
Well, Brian, we talked about the free agency with the Rangers, and they had a little bit of money to play with. And this deal that he signed is a major deal. You're talking $26 million over 5 years. Do you think it was necessary to do something like this with with the money of this caliber? Was it good to spend it all in one spot?
Well, the way it looks right now, even after the Zibanejad deal, they have about $3 million left to pay, so we'll get to that. As far as the contract itself, I'm not entirely in love with it. I personally would not have given him 5 years based on what I've seen from him last year. However, truth be told, I thought that if they did do a 5-year deal, it would cost them closer to $6 million. So if you're okay with the 5 years, I'm okay with the money, if that makes sense. They're in a tough spot, Mike. They don't really have 2 centers. They're missing 2 centers right now.
Yeah.
They traded Derek Stepan to Arizona in that deal to get the 7th overall pick and Anthony D'Angelo, and they lost Oscar Lindbergh to Vegas. So they have some holes that they have to fix to fit into this position. And, Zibanejad, they're going to rely on him a lot. I think they're going to rely on him to be their number 1 center this upcoming season. And it's a commitment. I hope he grows into the role. He wasn't that last year. He was the number 2. Center is always a position for New York that it seems like they don't really have a stud guy at the top of the lineup. And, at Zibanejad's age, maybe they think he can grow into that. Now they've locked him up for 5 years. They bought a couple of his USA years out. I think it's a good deal for him. I think it's an okay deal for the Rangers.
Yeah.
We'll see where they go with it.
I guess my point is, with Zibanejad, I still can't get this right. Anyway.
He's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, with this deal, I mean, in a perfect world, I guess you could cut corners and not give this guy this much money, but in the same sense, Zibanejad, I think, do you think they overpaid him a little bit? I guess in the NHL nowadays you got to overpay him, but I don't know about a 5-year deal. I think maybe a 3-year deal would have been sufficient, but in the same sense, like you said, it's a need for the Rangers, and maybe he doesn't sign if you give him a 3-year deal. Maybe he looks to go somewhere else if that's the case. You don't know the whole parameters of it, but in the same sense, Rangers, I mean, good deal for them. They got a center that they desperately needed. With, like you said, they got rid of 2 guys in the offseason. I guess when you look at it from the Rangers' perspective, it's a good signing.
Well, I think, like I said, if you look at it next year, is 5.3 a little bit too much? Yeah, probably. But I think that from their standpoint, they believe on the back end of this deal that 5.3 looks like a bargain for what they think he's going to become. He's only 24 years old.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There's room for growth there, and if he becomes what many projected him to be when he was a very high pick of the Ottawa Senators, you won't really think it's that much in 3 or 4 years. But right now, it's a commitment to the player, and you hope that he grows into that role. But they didn't waste all of their cap space. They do have about $3 million left. And the rumor that I'm hearing, Mike, is that the hot name linked to the Rangers right now is Tyler Bozak. Tyler Bozak, the center out of Toronto.
Yeah.
After the Marlowe signing, they have some cap issues. They are over the cap currently. Got to find a way to get out from under it. So there is a hot rumor that Bozak could be on his way to the Rangers in exchange for Nick Holden, who's on a pretty team-friendly deal, less than $2 million to be a defenseman, probably plays bottom pair for Toronto, and possibly a second or third round pick. I think that's best case scenario for the Rangers because I don't think Nick Holden has a spot on the team next year, frankly. I think that the Rangers have taken their weakness on defense and made it a massive, massive strength with the signing of Kevin Shattenkirk, who you know that I love.
Just a little bit.
Re-signing. A little bit. The re-signing of Brendan Smith and the trade acquisition of Anthony D'Angelo in that step-up deal. So, they have a plethora of guys to work with, and I think Nick Holden's the odd man out. If they can end up getting Tyler Bozak to be their number 2 center, I think that it strengthens the whole team all the way around.
Yeah. We will see. It should be very interesting. But that's all the time we have for this Rangers update. I want to thank Brian, even on the road, busting his ass to get on the sports box and give us a little update. Brian, we always appreciate it.
Listen, I'm happy to be a special guest on the show today. I apologize I could not be there in person, but my ear is on the streets of New York trying to get the scoops for the viewers of the Sports Box.
And you do it very well. And I will tell you, without you here, I feel very fat because I'm taking up a lot of the desk. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it.
And you know what's awesome? Where I am right now, I don't feel as though you're going to hit me with something. So I also feel safer.
You know what? I know where you're at right now via GPS, so be careful. I could throw something at you right now, so don't worry about it. So, always a pleasure to talk to Brian on the phone because it is very nice and roomy here at the Sports Box. And remember, you can always get us on social media. Well, you know what, Brian? Since you're familiar with the show, why don't you tell everybody how they can get us on social media?
Well, you can call me directly, apparently.
No, that's not how this works, Brian. You don't call him directly. No. So.
You can definitely find us. We're on Twitter and Facebook at Sports Box Show. And if you like to subscribe to the show, yeah, we appreciate it. Why don't you go ahead and join the party?
Absolutely. And at the Sports Box, remember, the only opinion that matters. Brian, where is it?
Right now, it's somewhere between New York City and Newark. I'm on a train.
Never mind. At the Sports Box, the only opinion that matters is right here. Thanks for watching, folks. See you. 1, 2, 3.
Don't forget to subscribe.